This is not the same box. I'm surprised I found it right next to it. You can see right there, it says box 31. So, same size box, same idea. Regular size books. Probably not a lot of comics in here, but there might be some. So, let's get to it. All right. Beautiful Sunday night here. Hope you guys are staying warm out east. There's a lot of snow coming towards your way. Now, last box had Treasure Victorian Murder with Cigarette Girl, Mary something or other. Edgar Allan Poe inspired. This is more classic Jack the Ripper. Not the only graphic novel to delve into that subject. But this is actually, I think, the second volume in the series. Because inside it just shows a Treasure Victorian Murder Volume 1, which was $7. There's the picture there, that first one. I forget what it was about. Maybe it's an anthology of such. But anyway, Jack the Ripper. All right. Very thin. All right. Oh. I don't know why I have this, unless whatever happened to her. Knee Deep in Paradise, Brett Butler. George, thanks. Love Brett Butler. Okay, I'm going to pardon, forgotten who she is. Name looks face. Quasimodo effect, right? I don't know the name. That's the opposite. I know the name. Butler actress, born 1958, according to Wikipedia. Grace Under Fire. Nominations. Let's see. Film. This thing was Friday's Child, Comedian as Herself, Vampire Bass, Mrs. Harris, Mrs. Militia Bruno, Totally Bill Hexiger, Child Ain't Right. And there was Grace Under Fire from 93 to 95. Grace Kelly, 112 episodes, also executive producer. People's Choice, nominated Golden Globe, blah, blah, blah. Guest stars in a lot of things. Young and the Restless from 2012. Anger Management, 2012 to 2014, 38 episodes. 3 episodes of How to Get Away with Murder. 6 episodes of Walking Dead as Tammy Rose Sutton, and then The Morning Show. Huh. Well. This was what year? 1996. So this must have been, sorry, let me get back to the camera here. This must have been, yeah, when I was in D.C. I guess she stopped by and I got a copy. Don't know why. Anyway. There's a further book. Same period, though. The New Limerick by Gershon Legman. He's notorious among comics scholars. Yeah, let's see. I'll make sure it's the same guy. No, just read Legman. 2,750 unpublished examples, American British. Constitution. Now, I've already marked this video as not for kids. There's nothing naughty in it, really. But, for example, those geisha who live in Japan exist just for pleasing a man. They give you fellatio as you lay on their patio and muffle their farts with a fan. Your average French girls are no ladies. They'll do anything to get a Mercedes. In private or orifice, they peddle each orifice. Excuse me. Your average French girls are no ladies. They'll do anything to get a Mercedes. In private or whore office, they peddle each orifice, nor care if they end up in Hades. Now, 2 things. There is this limerick song, which I learned in college, and I'll sing it for you. The limerick is callous and crude. Its morals distressingly lewd. It's not breeding. It's designed for us vulgar and rude. And then he go on, aye, and insert insult like, on warm days your brother sniffs bike seats. So sing me another verse that's worse than the other verse and waltz me around by my willy. And if you search for a limerick song on YouTube, you will find much finer musicians than me singing. But one thing I discovered, and this is also on Facebook, Consolation. It's an online console science fiction fantasy convention, just online, which is brilliant. I hope they get a Hugo Award. But I posted a think piece there, I guess you could call it, asking people saying, what songs can you overlap with music? For example, Emily Dickinson, Yellow Rose of Texas, right? Most of her poems can scan. But what I did not know is that Billy Joel's Piano Man has a lyric scansion. A astute obstetrician named Bow shaved the crotch of his mother-in-law. Since it wasn't as firm as his own epidermis, he asked her to make it go near. Again, I got that limerick song. I have it. Hopefully the copyright cops don't break me up for Piano Man. But try it sometime. Take a lyric, sing it to the tune of Piano Man. Oh, here's one. It's titled A Womb with a View. There was a neurotic named Bloom who wished to return to the womb. Having plenty of scratch, he rented a snatch and had it fixed up as a room. I kind of feel like a Donald O'Connor in Singing in the Rain. A prostitute named Miss Bowers was stopped by juridical powers for smoking in bed when the sign clearly read, "Do not smoke during orifice hours." Eccentricities. Let's see. Notes and variants. Oh, interesting. A whole bunch of, God, 100 pages of this. 590 to... 100 pages of notes in here. Then you have the index. Let's just see if there's anything under Nebraska, where I currently live. Nebraska, number 1632. Please turn to your hymnals to page. That's number 1632. No? 1632. I was on 1932. Good year, though. 1632. It was a very good year. Da, 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 da. No, that's Alaska. Can't take you anywhere. Pardon me. You're experiencing technical difficulties or difficult technicalities? Whatever. 1632. Well, I guess, okay, it fits Nebraska. It says Alaskan here, but Upfront. There was a young girl from Nebraska who'd do anything that you'd ask her. She'd go out in the woods and deliver the goods and be ready again 9 months after. A big-busted biddy of Beeman likes all things about sex except semen. She knows girls produce from that harmless white juice, but she still goes for sex like a demon. Anything? Let's see, Manhattan. Manhattan, 1832. I hope that's 1832. So, a professional gal from Manhattan, considering this business of cattin'. If I had my picks of the world's finest pricks, I'd take neither this nor that. Okay. Again, the new limerick. And I got this because, again, when I was in college, it only cost me $7.50. We published it $15.95. I guess this was a bargain book. So many examples with notes. What's the last one in here? Let's go look up the last verse. Chapter and verse. Laus Dio. I am the Bishop of Yardley, and though you might think of me, I have a face like a lamb, a prick like a ram, and a mind like a WC. First one is... Sometimes I look at last names. Her on Italy turned odes of small span, much concerned with our bodily plan. and the intercorporeal, highly sensorial love life of woman and man. Back in the days of old Adam, the grass served as mattress for madam. And they spent the whole day on the sex that today they would bounce on box springs if they had them. Okay, moving on. How's that for culture? Yes. Things I learned in college that they didn't teach. This is an Asian cartoon, Cheap, Mad, and Sexy by John A. Lentz. Another early indexer student of comics. There's your Isbin. This is Popular Press. 1999. Yeah, so about that when I was in New York. Oh, hide your assets and disappear. Step-by-step guide to vanishing without a trace. If you want, Google Loom Panics. That's with 2 O's. Loom Panics. They're an old, defunct clearinghouse, book distributor of stuff like this. How to change your identity, how to break out of jail, the anarchist cookbook, that sort of thing. I don't know what happened to him. Now you just go online. That's probably what it was. Oh, here we go. Isaac Asimov, the final science fiction collection, gold. $20. This is the last one, and it should have been 1995. Yes, that is probably after his death. I just love it when they print when they actually print, and actually like a library card, the Library of Congress cataloging publication data. They just don't do that anymore, which is a shame. It looks so nice when it's in there like that. It's like you just cut it out and put it in a little index card and file it away, right? Okay. Ooh, this is okay. I do have some comics in here. For example, Raw, High Culture for Lowbrows. Volume 2, number 3. Uh-oh. Binding broke on this. You can see it right there. But this is a $14.95 book. Probably bought it new back then. Oh, no, I bought it as a remainder. See that? I bought it used. The penultimate chapter for Art Spiegelman's Mouse. Raw, of course, was basically a comics art magazine. What's the word? Was shepherded, edited, produced by Art Spiegelman and friends. This is published by Penguin. You'll find others that are big, oversized treasure editions. But there's a lot of stuff in here. There's just an example. There's the table of contents. Hopefully you can read that. If not, how good. If I went back in a little. I'll just leave it like that. Birds. Oh my gosh, a really long story here by Linda Berry. Gene Deitch. I mean, the Bowing Machine by Alan Moore and Mark Beyer. What? What? Yes, I'm going to be careful not to spread these pages over because I'll break the boundary. And here is Mouse Save, Chapter 10. At the end of the war. Okay. Yes, graphic novels have that problem. Even up until, I want to say like 2005, a lot of the bindings were not good. They were not durable. And it took librarians complaining about it for publishers to fix that. This I got for $7 at Crown. There's the Crown, Super Crown logo. This is, Elvis, Jesus, and CocaCola, Kinky Friedman, the novel. I got this just because I didn't know who Kinky Friedman was. Still don't know what the book's about, really, but I got it. But I love the recipe in the back. Kinky Freaky Long Gone. One of those great. Jewish Texas Cowboy. Yeah. Did you put the recipe in here? The recipe's in here somewhere. Okay, here we go. I'll do a reading. I got out a piece of paper, an imaginary pen, and faint an effort at jotting down the recipe. It was the least I could do. Ratso had worked hard on the case. He just didn't realize that it was over. Okay, he said. First, take a large package of black cherry-flavored Jell-O. I hate it already. Now add 1 15-ounce can of crushed pineapple. Got it? Roger. 1 cup seedless golden raisins. Unpleasant. 1 cup apple core, chopped. Ratso, I'm begging you to stop talking. 1/2 cup pecans, chopped. Why don't you chop your own nuts off and throw them in there? 1/2 cup white grapes. Am I going too fast? Do chickens have lips? 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese. Maybe he was Jewish. 1 king-size Coke. King size. Get it now. This is important. You put the Coke in last. Then you stir. That's why I'm begging you to hang up the phone. Now you pour into an oiled mold and refrigerate for 6 hours. I took out a cigar about my prenuptial arrangements. For some reason, my brain was beginning to feel like an oiled mold. Let me check my notes, I said, as I gazed blandly down at the blank sheet of paper. It was still blank, of course. I found that to be mildly comforting. I lit a cigar. It doesn't cost anything to be kind to a sick friend, I thought. Serve 6 to 8, said Ratso. Does that refer to the number of guests or to their ages? I said. Still a number of things to do today besides laying on the phone with Ratso like middle-aged housewives sharing recipes. I was definitely redlining in the humoring an old friend department. Okay, said Ratso, that's it. Let's hear it back now. I looked at the blank sheet of paper. Can't, I said. Why not? Asked Ratso. I took a rather paternalistic puff on the cigar. Because you left out the most important ingredient. What did I leave out? 1/2 cup of the case is solved, I said. And it goes on for another about 10 pages or so. If you like interesting, I don't know if it's crime or mystery writing. A Kiki Friedman. Singular voice, great guy. Never had a chance to meet him. But I bought that book because, why not? Menace, Jules Pfeiffer. There's some comics in here, but mostly illustrations. Because again, it's a kid. Oh, another master. Don't think he's in the Eisner Hall of Fame, though. Upfront, 50th Anniversary Edition. Original text and adventures by Bill Malden, editorial cartoonist for, I want to say Stars and Stripes. And yes, there he is. He was embedded. Italy, other places. And this is writings and editorial cartoons. I guess editorial cartoons. He did for Stars and Stripes. Which the powers that be did not like, but the man of the field did. Willie and Joe. Fantagraphics did a great, I think, 2-volume slipcased edition of those cartoons, as well as his civilian ones he did, which, again, they were sold as panel cartoons, but they really were editorial cartoons. And that's where he found his success. It was much later as a total cartoonist. Well worth looking at. Here we have Poor Things. Alfred Grace is just, I think I bought this at bargain. It was just one of those strange little books. I thought, okay, what the heck? Illustrated, a little weird. I think it has like a Frankenstein. Oh, here they show Mary Shelley, Wilkie Collins, Arthur Conan Doyle, Lewis Carroll. Mix them together. And I don't know what he's written since. This was sort of a Frankenstein pastiche. Frankenstein's monster is a pastiche. Come on. But you know, here we have Still I Rise, a cartoon history of African Americans. I think this is still in print. I don't know if it's still from Norton. Here's the book number. This I know I bought when I moved to New York. 1997, yeah. Maybe later. I don't know. I think I did. Or at least stocked it there. But an early graphic novel history of African Americans. Deep, oh yes. I used to take this book with me when I traveled. This is from, oh my gosh, this is never tiny. Okay, there we go. Doubling it back in. Okay, so Super Crown, my store, DuPont Circle, would do book signings. Southwest opened up at Baltimore International Airport service. And so to promote it, They did a book signing with this coming book, which I'll show you in a moment. Not the author, just staff came down, decorated the place for an hour or two. If you bought the book, you got a gift certificate for $25, which is the cost of the book. So the book, of course, is nuts. I sure miss you, Herb, even though I never met you. Southwest Chairman Herb Keller. Find this book, get it from the library. A nice pictorial history of Southwest. This is a business profile book. Example of their 90s advertising. But again, this was a profile of the book on why Southwest is so successful. One of those rare airlines that actually made money year to year. There are actually I don't know if they're actually millionaires, but there's some very wealthy former employees who bought into stock. But as I said, $25 gift certificate. Right there. I've never used it because Southwest always offered me great rates to begin with, great service. I didn't even go in the freaking flyer thing. I was just give me good price, good service, and I'm happy. So this is probably the most expensive bookmark I own. Now, again, they had a book signing. They had an event where they're selling the book, promoting their service to Baltimore, which when I lived in D.C. was hop on the MARC train, Maryland commuter, at Union Station in D.C., and it would drop you off near the airport, and then you had to take a shuttle bus to the airport. Okay. And again, I was a fan of Southwest, and they were there, and I thought, okay, you guys are doing a signing. Why don't you sign the book for me? And then what I would do years later, as I would ever take Southwest, I'd take this with me, and I'd have the gate agent or whoever say, hey, can you sign this for me? So these are autographs and inscriptions. Happy travels. Hope to see you again. Shina Ingram, CSA ISP. Also in the back, had one there. And again, always been a fan. Now, in the book, they talk about the Southwest effect, which is whenever they get into a market, prices drop because they're so competitive. At least that was the case back before. Now, who knows with COVID and all that. But the other effect they had is they would go into underserved markets. Baltimore. But after I moved to New York, we started flying out of Islip, in the middle of Long Island. Little rinky-dink airport, regional airport. You walk in, to your right are the check-in desks. On the left is baggage claim and I think 2 or 3 car rental companies. That was it. And you had to take a taxi, $8 taxi ride from the train station, Ronkonkoma, Long Island Railroad, to the airport. Hopefully that's changed. Hopefully there's a shuttle bus now. But anyway, little rinky-dink airport. They start flying out of there. Cheap, efficient. Usually I think they connected up Baltimore and then from there. They've since gone into Newark and LaGuardia. But the second north-southwest effect is because of those low prices, volume increased dramatically. And I swear, I think it was probably the second year I was using them. Again, taking a 2-hour train trip out to Islip to catch a cheap plane to fly back to Omaha or wherever. I think it was the second year they actually had to build another terminal onto that airport. They completely rebuilt it, redesigned it, and now it's a normal airport, what you consider a normal airport. That's the second Southwest effect. Baltimore, they did the same thing. Midway, which they talk about in here. Midway Airlines had gone out. Southwest bought up all their gates and basically took over one of the terminals at Midway. And if you ever have to fly to Chicago or through Chicago, take Southwest. You can avoid O'Hare, all that mess. You can take the orange line straight into the city. It's the end terminal, so you'll always have a seat on the train. You got to walk a little bit through the terminal to get to the parking garage to get to the L. But still highly recommend. Great airline. I'm not going to lug this around with me because usually I'm lugging other books home or my pilot, but still. Next, maybe if I pick up somebody at the airport, I might take that with me and have them sign it more. Anyway, beneath that is a rare Random House hardcover of Dennis the Menace. Who, me? And this, I wouldn't surprise me if the designer of this was borrowed from their beginning reader imprint. This might have been it. I don't think this was a beginning reader. $1.50 I paid for this. 1962. Library of Congress card number, because they didn't have ISBNs back there, 62-18022. And again, Hank Ketchum, master of, just the things he does with line are amazing. And Dennis is pretty much at his, this I guess is the Hank Ketchum, classic Ketchum. Dennis almost, since then he's become much kinder. Kind of like Peanuts did. Here's another book. Now, I'm also a fan of Roald Dahl. Not a fan of him particularly. He's kind of toxic. But I like his writing. And here we have Roald Dahl, My Year, illustrated by Quentin Blake. Not a real fan of Quentin Blake's illustration. Here they're kind of subdued. They're watercolors. They're not the crazy stuff he does in the books. I wish they would just reissue the books with the original illustrations, like James and the Giant Peach. I can't believe they had him illustrate a Beatrix Potter book. Maybe it's because of this. I don't know. There are so many better people who could have done that. But this is from Viking, $15 book. Nice little gift book. And basically, he's writing essays about living. Yeah, every month I think he writes something. Yeah, every month he does a little thing. I guess of his backyard, his estate. And then we have Superheroes, a Modern Mythology, Richard Reynolds. Not great book design. Study of one of pop culture superstars and the enchanting mystique that pervades the modern world. Again, University Press in Mississippi. Richard Reynolds. So they're talking about superheroes, yeah, not about a specific person or, Anyway. And at the bottom, the last book on that first half, we're halfway done, folks. Pulp Demons, International Dimensions of the Post-War Anti-Comics Campaign. I hope that isn't Comic Sans. It's still not a great font to use. What they should have done was probably lettered it in Leroy lettering, like EC Comics used. Anyway, hardcover book. Yeah. Fairleigh Dickinson University Press. Edited by John A. Lentz. And this is a selection of articles. I don't know who most of these people are, but anyway. So again, this is about anti-comics before Comics Code Authority. Okay, that's fine. Halfway done, folks. Here we have Eddie Campbell, Alec, How to Be an Artist. And top shelf, $14. His autobiographical, semi-autobiographical, semi-biographical, I don't know, semi-memoir. And I guess 2001. I don't know what he's doing now. Well worth, that's good, but his Bacchus from Hell, of course, that's still in print. And then he did one of the early books for First Second. The mummy's daughter, I think it was. Anyway, I don't know what he's doing lately, though. It's interesting. And as I mentioned in the previous video with Ann B. Davis, here's Alice's Brady Bunch cookbook. Also signed by Miss Davis. Ann B's one and only beef jerky. Oh. Ann B's one and only beef jerky. Florence's Divine Stuffed Rigatoni. Chicken oregano. Robert Reed's Pumpkin Chiffon Pie. It's from his mother. Sweet. Wow. And his daughter, Robert Reed's Chicken Rosemary Cajun. Most Fabulous Meatballs. Marine's Chicken L'Orange. Barry's Yogurt Chicken. Barry's Showstopper Zucchini and Swiss Cheese Pie. California Winter Boiled Water. 1 to 2 cups ice, medium saucepan stove. Use boiled water. This is a recipe handed down in my family. My grandmother first boiled water on the Oklahoma prairie. Though times may have modern up some, as she may say, tradition that lives on. I found this recipe in an old trunk in her handwriting. Grandma's winter boiled water. Okay. Chris's rigatoni with broccoli and chicken. Susan south of the border beef fillets, super easy pot roast. Some good photos in here. Quick killer salsa. Anyway. This was $12.95 back in mid-90s. Okay. Oh my. God, were these for other people or were these for friends of mine? Here's one that says, "Hi, Stacy." I don't know, can't remember who Stacy was. This is 25 years ago. But I got a, Stacy, if you remember me, I got a signed copy for you. Oh, that was from my brother. Late Christmas present. God, do me late. 25 years late. Okay. Here we have a reprint, The Adventures of Superman. They did these novelizations back. Usually they were just cardboard covered, hardcovers. They're almost like toilet paper, even worse than toilet paper. Like Rush Soviet era toilet paper, right? Which was like worse than sandpaper. We're talking like a 5 grit, right? But anyway, back in the day, they did these illustrated. These were a step above the Big Little books. Again, this would have been very bad newsprint. I don't know if there's color plates in this at all. Oh yeah, there's one. Yeah, that's probably the reason they reprinted it. The story's not bad either. I wonder who did the illustrations. Joe Shuster did the illustrations. That's why. Here we go. Here's your title page. So that's why they reprinted it. Joe Shuster illustrations. One of the co-creators of Superman. Here we have 2 complete novels: Douglas Adams, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul. This is not a remainder. This is a bargain book. Again, ground price $9.99. Created especially for the bargain book market. Cheap books. Not something that, that didn't sell, so they... One of their best graphic novels was Stephen Weiner. I think this is a duplicate copy. When I catalog it, again, I might have the paperback instead. I don't know. I know I have a duplicate of it. Good man. I think he's just retired from librarianship. This was done in 2001. And again, 100 Best Graphic Novels. And this is, again, 2000. Is this revised? I don't know. Jack Kirby's New Gods, Four Immigrants Manga, Facts from Sarajevo, My the Psychic Girl, Peter Cooper's The System, Still I Rise, which I mentioned. Again, there's just so much stuff out there now. I mean, 10 years ago, there was like 1001 comics to read before you died. Now, gosh. Oh, yes, this next one actually came in to us with the regular shipment of books. We get, again, this was at Barnes & Noble, so we would get, like this box, a case of books. Because, again, we would sell 20-plus copies of a book, or we'd stack even higher as bestseller. This wasn't so much a bestseller, good seller, but this was just found in the box. I guess they put them in there randomly. But this says, signed first edition. That is not a Barnes & Noble sticker. That is the publisher sticker. William Morrow. American Gods. And there you have it. I do have other books I still want to see, but this was just regular price, $26. Yep, see? Here's the regular Lisbon. So, Fortuosity. Also, by Neil Gaiman. Excuse me. We have Stardust, novelization. And yes, I do have the full-size hardcover, as well as the square-bound comics, the 3 issues they did. But this is a novelization, not signed, of course, not illustrated by Charles Vess. You've seen the movie, which actually is decent. Should have a revival pretty soon. I think it's coming up on an anniversary. If you get the illustrated edition, there's an illustrated edition that they originally with Vertigo, and then much later they did a graphic novel adaptation, which I think Charles Vess did the full illustrations on as well. So there's three. There's probably also a movie tie-in. I don't know if it's illustrated or a junior novel, but anyway. Next, oh, this is a good one. If I were a billionaire, I would produce this movie. Here we have the illustrated screenplay of I, Robot by Harlan Ellison, Isaac Asimov. Folks, if you haven't read this, there's a nice paperback out there as well. It almost looks like a book club edition, but it isn't. Who illustrated it? That's the question. Mark Zug is the illustrator. This was originally, he produced it. Harlan Ellison wrote this using Citizen Kane as the structure. This was serialized. If you read this or go online, you can find his account of it. But here's an example of the illustration. Great screenplay. I still have not watched and probably will never watch the Will Smith version. But this just takes all those short stories. Again, I, Robot was a short story collection. Takes all the short stories and using that flashback motif structure of Citizen Kane manages to adapt a lot of those stories into this bigger arch. And again, it's been 20 years now, I guess, since I, Robot, the first one. People have forgotten it. Hollywood, you really should produce this. I mean, Warner's didn't produce it back in the day because the special effects would have been so much. But now with CGI, it's a no-brainer. Come on, somebody. Buy the rights to this. Whoever has the rights to this, produce this movie. Come on. You can... HBO Max can do it as a mini-series, okay? You can do a Masterpiece Theater thing with this. Each story, boom, 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 boom. Right? Anyway, yes, it's a screenplay. Read it, especially if you've read the book. Here we have Aesop's Fables, a nice reprint edition. Yes, that is a laminated, a plastic cover with no overlay. It's just... so it has a price on it, which was $13.95. But again, I think this is just an old edition. Yeah, look at that. Look at, they don't do that on bindings anymore. Illustrated by Fritz Cradle. Illustrated Junior Library. Grosset and Donlin. I don't even know if those guys are still in business. Copyright 1947. Reviewed 75. That's a 1947. Yeah. I don't think there's any color illustrations. No, this is all mostly a little bit. But look at that line. That's almost Wilhelm Busch quality. No color illustrations. But again, a good selection, good collection. I'm going to just Google that series just to see what comes up. But again, you had this type of book, you know. In the first half of the 20th century, you had books like this that were affordable, nicely produced. What's that? It says Illustrated Junior Library. Just a moment here. Illustrated Junior Library. But again, they were affordable, nice books. Exodus books, 158 items. It's kind of like classic sales. You look at some of these and think, I've never heard of these before. Treasure, okay, yeah. 45 titles. Nearly all are unabridged, 5 or more extensive editing. Gulliver's Travels, King Arthur, Robinson Crusoe, Swiss Family Robinson, and Three Musketeers. Huh. Series 4 was late 20th century, 90s, 2000s. Huh. Yeah, again, handsome books. Something they, yeah. Let me go back. Anyway, but as you can see, yeah, you know, it's nice. You guys get that ISBN there. I don't know why they just didn't put a sticker on it like they did before, like they did with the price. But anyway, I don't know if I bought that for $14 or I got it or whatever. And then we have Glen Baxter's Life, The Years of Struggle. Again, this guy is way out there. He's channeling an old style of storytelling, but adds a bit of quirkiness and I don't know what avant-garde to it. But again, it's illustrated storytelling, so I grabbed it. I don't know what's going on there. Laundry. Yeah, you read this as just short little captions, but again, illustrated storytelling. Another issue of Raw. And this one is still. There's the sorry. This is Raw. Required reading for the post-literate. Is there a volume on this? Volume 2, number 2. Excuse me. And great cover. Great back cover. This was on sale for $5. God knows what it's worth now. Actually, the internet does know what it's worth. Push that in there. Abe Books. Let's go to Abe Books. And this paperback is now selling. One moment, please. $50, 6 new, 18 used from 6. So affordable if you don't mind on pristine. Let me just look at these news. 50, 57, 105, 129. And that's 8 books, folks. So, again, yep, there's Mouse in here, chapter 9. You've got a crazy reprint of Babe, Darling of the Hills. Japanese artist, it looks like. What is this? Kamagurka. No. Yoshiharu Tsuge. Huh. Chris Ware. Doing a very un-Chris Ware illustration. Excuse me, I'll get back here so I can see what you guys are saying. That's Chris Ware, guys. All right. Wow. I don't know if that's ever been collected. Kim Deitch. Drew Friedman. Francois Mouly. This looks like Tardy. And again, yeah, Jock Tardy and Linda Berry. Sneaking out. Anyway, again, back in the late 80s, this would have been, 1984, 1990. It was just published. Collection, 1990 Penguin. Again, 1990, you would walk into Walden Books, you would find this in the humor section because that's where all the cartoon books were. There might be a few science fiction things like Star Trek comics might be over science fiction, but Watchmen, I think, was in the humor section. This definitely was. Comic strips, superhero comics, I think all ended up in humor. Even the big books from Piranha Press? No, Paradox Press, which were nonfiction, but they didn't have that section, so they put them in all the other comics and humor. So, anyway, again, as I said, this was originally $14.95. I got it as a remainder, $4.98. So a third off, 66% off, and now it's worth whatever. Here we have. Oh yes, these I bought when I started working at Barnes and Noble and had money to spare. And this is Comic Art of Europe, an international comprehensive biography by John Glen, who I mentioned earlier. This is from 1994, and basically it is a reader's guide to comics literature. He went through, I think, the comics guide. Yeah, I wasn't surprised if he went through the periodical guide to. Let me just put my name in here. He goes through, basically goes through the reader's guide and others. I mean, Jesus, he's got stuff in here from Europe. The Année de la Bande Dessinée, for example. I think these were $100 each, if not more. But I thought, hey, I should have this in my collection. So there's one for Europe, Comic Art of Europe. And with a nice shinier cover, Comic Art in Africa, Asia, Australia, and Latin America. Was there one from North America? Probably. I just get it. But yeah. Now, of course, you just type it in, but it's illustrated. Have to show you. That's actually a really good cartoon. Wordless. Careful, though. She might use the remote control on you. Yeah. So, Greenwood Press. And as we near the 49-minute mark, here is the empty box. There is a number, and now I have to index these, type them up, add them to my inventory, and then lug that over onto a pile of other palette of books over there. Once that second palette is booked, I'll do another tour video. But thank you for watching, for getting this far. I hope you'll see me soon. Please share, comment, subscribe. Yeah, you know, the usual stuff you hear at the end of the internet YouTube videos. But again, hope you enjoyed that. A lot of stuff from mid to late 90s, I guess you could say. Some comics in there, mostly though books with lots of words. So I hope you'll see me soon, and have a great week. Oh wait, that's the wrong button. I guess I should end the stream first before I edit it, right? Yeah. Okay. Once more with feeling.